My name is Clement Ivanov, nicknamed Puppy. I play for Team Secret.
What's your take on all the different tournament structures? So, you've got single elimination, double elimination, and group stages. You've got different structures as well, like round robin and what have you. What do you prefer playing in?
I prefer double elimination because I think strategy games are like kind of born in it. I've watched Warcraft my whole life. I watched StarCraft my whole life, and basically how that transitions is that usually, like let's say I fan a lot of Moon or something like that. I always see him actually going down somewhere, but he finds a way to win the tournament, and that just gives me the hype. While single elimination tournaments, they can be fast, and perhaps you can go on the next thing, and maybe that's the priority maybe these days too. But for me, it's double elimination.
Do you think there's like an entertainment factor for single elimination?
I think it's the point is more on a sense that it's quick and you can establish very fast the next tournament perhaps even, and maybe the demand for us to have a lot of Dota tournaments is maybe connected to that also, and it's the, let's say, the future in a sense that we can pack more tournaments into the game. Although there are a lot of ways we can embrace the fact that there might be tournaments for tier 2 teams, tier 3 teams, and maybe amateur leagues and whatnot, and those things are also in the future. So I'm not really sure if single elimination right now should be our priority.
Cool. What's your view on how roster changes are currently handled? How often they occur in the season?
Well, I think every team almost does a lot of roster changes in a year, unless the ones that are completely winning, usually every day, basically like in every tournament they go top 3. I mean, like OG in that last year, because I think they pretty much solidly kept on top 3 in each tournament. But usually I see a lot of changes. We have done a lot of changes too, probably for the worse and sometimes for the better too. But right now I think the experimentations of trying to deal how roster changes happen have kind of failed in a sense, because nothing really much changed by the teams that kind of wanted to play with each other regardless. But some occasions happened where a player would just be able to play for another team in a sense that because it's available for him to sign a stand-in that sense for the team, whilst the other guy needs to back off from the stable roster or whatever it's called, like the main roster. And whose contract is more important in that sense, who says who does what, and the relationship between team organizations and Valve is not really that connected yet.
What are you currently playing other than Dota 2? Or do you play anything other than Dota 2?
No, I play a lot of games. Well, there was like this whole gap of Christmas and New Year's and something like that, and I have just downloaded some really old games for no reason. Actually, for reasons. I wanted to play with my fiance, in that sense, Diablo 2, and played a little bit of that, but she got bored of it, but I started playing a little bit more and got to that, place where I'm already like trying to get my MF really high, over like whatever, like 400 or something like that in 2 weeks or something, or maybe 1 week. I don't play that much, but in the sense like it's still like a vibe I have since I did it. And I think I downloaded this old game called Pharaoh. It's also a very old game by Sierra. It was even before Valve times. And yeah, it's like some kind of there's also a similar game like Caesar or whatnot, but those are simulation games. I think those are the last 2 games I've played.
I loved Pharaoh.
No, you should not.
Really?
It's a horrible game. You waste so much time. It's no.
I still sometimes get the music stuck in my head.
Yeah, one of those type of games. The intriguing thing about them is that they have a really good soundtrack. Usually old games that were really well developed, because I think there's a lot of audio in that game itself, since you can pretty much click on the units and they all have their own distinguished thing to say. If your city's going good, bad, whatnot, mediocre, or if they need something, all these audios were created, which was really unorthodox for those type of games back in the day, because it would take a lot of, I guess, budget. But Pharaoh had it.
Well, who is your favourite team or player to watch in Dota and why?
Well, I'm very fond of watching mid one right now, but he's in my team, so I can't choose right now him. I'm actually very fond of watching S4 play right now, and Zai, because they used to be on Team Secret too, but after the TI5 drama, whatever, it just kind of like everybody went their separate ways and Zai went back to school. But overall, yeah, Zai is fun to watch, just straight up fun. S4, he does some goofy moves sometimes, but mostly he's fun to watch. And there's also some kind of a thing that I share maybe with Moon Meander in the same S4 direction, because I see them both doing some of the same stuff, and they're very pressury, and it's very nice to watch something like that.
Now that all the heroes from Dota 1 have been remade into Dota 2, how do you think Valve will handle adding more heroes? Do you think it's going to be a less often occurrence?
Well, I think we have a lot of heroes right now, and we specifically do not need that many more. To keep things interesting, we can keep on adding something every, 6 months, figure out a new concept if the crowd, because it's really connected to the community. Because if the game is good, it might as well just keep fixing other things because there's a lot to fix. But if the game starts becoming stale, might as well already do something in order to make it a little bit more spiced. But right now I have actually not much thoughts about it.
So how much of your current skill can you attribute to playing pubs? Or does most of your learning come through playing with other pros?
By the way, also in pubs you play with pros a lot. And usually a lot of the pro players, they kind of want to win their games, so they will show everything what they got. And the pubs right now have become very important in a sense that you get to play with other players that are trying to really win, and they even like talk in chat, like this counters that and whatever, whatnot, and you get to go into their head. That's not a good thing for some of the players, of course, to do, to expose themselves that much, but some of the players are not really necessarily in good teams. They're just good players, maybe searching for a team, and that's why they're doing it in the first place. But overall, of course, I think my skill comes from scrims, playing clan wars against other teams, because that's how the communication becomes better between your teammates. It's one thing, yes, for sure, is that you are good individually, but we've all seen 5 individually good players be in a team and it's not worked out. I've lived through it, and it's basically that you need to be more as a team rather than individual people.
Do you have a favourite thing to eat or drink before a match, or like a ritual that you do that sort of gives you luck or comfort in some way before a pro match?
If I would have to choose food, which I would eat a banana, just like my boy Gewast. But no, it's a Navi thing. We're all yellow. Bananas are yellow, What else is there? What else do I do? I don't think I do anything really ritually before the game. I just basically keep going through all the stuff, talking to my team, and just basically getting in the vibe of let's go, let's do this.
Who is your least favourite hero to play and play against?
It depends from patch to patch which hero I hate the most. Right now I think since I've played a lot of pubs, it's kind of like a circle between which hero is banned, which hero is not. I dislike to play against Luna when I have nothing against it, especially since I usually play 4th or 5th position heroes, and those heroes don't do necessarily that much against Luna. And yeah, then comes like a Meepo in there, in a sense where you pick all your 4 heroes, nothing is good against Meepo, and then boom, a Meepo. I'm like, okay, 15 minutes later, your base is down, and it's okay, I just wasted my time. And I don't think there's more, to be honest. Like, Monkey King is pretty obnoxious, but not in the sense that the whole team believes in this Monkey King right now, and I can see people are just fooling around with that hero a lot, so not that big of a deal right now. And to play, do I dislike playing? Which hero did I dislike playing the most? No, I used to hate Earth Spirit or something like that, I think, because it would take a lot of time to practice them up, but I don't think I do anymore since I play it a lot in my games. And I've gotten better at it. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't think I have a very dislikable hero to play. Not anymore, at least.
Do you have a favourite swear?
Swear. I guess it's fuck. I'm 100% sure it's fuck.
What are you listening to at the moment, music-wise?
I think I've gone through the vibe of listening to Rage Against the Machine again. And let me actually think. Right now I listen to some Perfect Circle. That's all right. No, I went through like a lot of weird bands right now. And I think I started liking just Zach De La Rocha a lot more right now. Just that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm getting the Zach vibe, and One Day as a Lion vibe, basically his other band. And yeah, I don't think I can give like a specific any other type of choice right now. Yeah, I'm into all alternative music styles. Since I mean, I did sing in a choir. I did play saxophone for 10 years and stuff, but that really hasn't like stuck on me, in the sense that I don't enjoy Mozart like, you know, another person could. Like, what? How can you not? You know, but I do understand the concepts why it's so good. It just doesn't hit me that well, and yeah, alternative music styles in this generation at least are one of my favorite stuff. Not in the same, like pop culture in that sense, probably, like it depends which type of pop. I even do like pop, but it depends which type, because even hip hop these days is pop.
So, at what point in your life did you realise, like, you know, you sort of, I don't know, maybe you woke up and just thought, I've made it as a pro gamer, this is exactly where I wanted to be?
Well, I think when I woke up and I saw that the money from TI1 came to my bank account, that's when I knew that, all right, this is it. I mean, of course, like TI1 was like a new thing for us. We didn't expect it to be real, because we heard blah blahs and blah blahs here, blah blahs there. And at the end of the day, we do play the tournament. And even if we win, we're like super happy, super psyched and stuff. But like, will it happen? Will it actually happen? Because we know, at least I know what Valve is. Maybe the other players on my team did not, but in a sense that I, you know, believed in it right away. But once I got the money, then I knew that this is going to go further and further. This is just the start, and let's keep on going. And I've made it.
What's a common thing in Dota that angers you?
I think mostly, I'm not even sure. I would rather say that basically when teammates get frustrated upon each other, because it's just, to be honest, it's a very important game for our lives, and I understand we have a lot of passion towards it. I've even thrown a headset on a monitor for reasons because of it, because you know, this is very important for you, and if things don't go correctly, you really can get mad. But in a sense that I'm just kind of annoyed constantly that these similar situations happen where people just go too far over their heads when something goes wrong in a game. Rather than accepting that it just went wrong and now we gotta have to figure out how this cannot happen, it's more like you and your fault and whatnot. Because I never really practice that type of behavior, and I usually say that this is not acceptable, usually when somebody just says fuck you to some other person. But yeah, basically the frustration that kind of happens constantly, that's kind of annoying me, because it should not happen. If it already has happened before, you should learn from it and, you know, get better.
So this is a weird question, but if you had to 1v1 against one of your own teammates, you pick any one of them, but you got to choose their hero, who would you pick for them and why? Obviously you're playing to win here.
Who would I play? That's the first question. I'd play Pi probably, or or maybe Keizu actually. I'm not sure what Shiro though. That's a tough one. Uh, something, yeah, I don't even know. Like me and Pi in a techies fight. Something like that. Now that will be like something at least to like, all right, who's gonna walk over that one, and some stupid stuff. But yeah, that's the only one I can think of right now.
I think people would really want to see that. So.
Yeah, we're just gonna mine it up and never reach anywhere else. Not do anything. Somebody's tower can fall actually pretty fast. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen.
You're a musical person and you know many instruments. Do you think this has helped your pro career at all in some way?
I think if you are a little bit musically talented, then it helps you in life overall. Is it specifically connected to gaming? No. I think you can be as good as you are in gaming without music, even without mathematics, even without even speaking like your language correctly. You can do, if your thoughts are in the game and it's correct and you can figure out stuff, it's good enough. And if you put your passion into the game and you're also talented perhaps in gaming, so that's enough that you need. You just need to perfect all those things. Musical, like an ear for music is just good to have in life.
Would you say that there's a kind of discipline that you had through learning all those instruments that maybe is transferred in some way anyway?
I think only for guitar though, in a sense that all the other things I don't have discipline over, because usually when you're placed to play an instrument in some orchestra for a school, you basically don't want to do that because that's just like a chore for you. But if I would have to choose something, which I did choose a guitar in that sense, and having to just sit behind there, and even though I don't play that much, it's still, I remember the times where I did, which means that I had to like sit behind the guitar and get actually like on a level where I could go on stage. Since that takes a lot, that takes like that weird amount of time where you're really bad and you just have to be bad. To be bad is enough to go on stage, but if you're really bad, just that, that limit of 50 hours, it's still going to take like 50 to 100 hours to just get at least, you're not going to get to bad though. You need actually like 200 hours or 300 hours to get to bad. But yeah, when you're really bad, yeah, it's going to take some time.
What were your motivations for forming Team Secret?
The motivations of creating Team Secret were basically that we wanted to start over. It was right after Navi TI4, and me and Kuro basically wanted to start over without any organization behind us. Sadly, we didn't get to any real holding in that sense in that year, because what the thought process was that either we were going to start ourselves or we're going to sign to another team, but our negotiation types in that sense that the whole team is involved and the whole team asks the question, and nobody is here says, I'm all right with that, I'm all right with that. We all have to be on the same page if we are all right with this. I think the thing is, like, we were in talks with Alex Garfield for a long while, but we didn't get into basically we didn't agree on the terms, and that's pretty much how it ended up. And we had to do something from ourselves, and we kept on searching for ways to get ourselves sponsors, but the whole year didn't go anywhere. And once TI5 ended, the whole kind of team disbanded, and I kept the team, and we started doing the stuff which we are doing right now. And this has been basically our first year. And this is the second year that's going to go.
Are there any problems that you've had to overcome with language barriers between teammates? And on top of this, is there any slang or lingo for certain movements in Dota that don't translate well between languages?
When I started in Navi, I spoke Russian, And of course they understand like a little bit of English, not everybody. But I guess it was a little bit hard for me at the start because my Russian was bad, and sometimes I would say some stupid shit in Russian, in a sense that I would just incorrectly say it because the language is a little bit harder than English in my opinion, much harder, and yeah, like they sometimes did not understand what I was saying, and I would have to explain them in English, and then it wouldn't work out, and then I would just have to like explain it to some guy who had to explain it. But overall, that stuff in time went away because once I started understanding all the lingos, because I was starting out also in that sense my Dota 2 career just then, even though I played Dota 1 a long time too, but I never really experimented with the Russians so far. There might be more with Mid1, MP, and Forev in that sense, just a little bit, but their English and their lingo is already with the Dota so involved that we don't really have any problems with communication.
One of the main things that I've heard you talk about being the most important thing in Pro Dota is map vision and ward placement. How's this changed in the recent patch?
Well, the map got wider significantly, or bigger, or taller, whatever it is. But yeah, there's a lot of spaces right now where you could place a ward and it probably will not get dewarded because there's just like let's say the bounty rune on bottom lane, bottom radiant jungle. You know, it's just like there's a canvas in there, and you could place a ward everywhere. And now to just start poking sentries in there, it's going to be a little bit hard. So I think it's harder to find wards, easier to place wards, but in time there's probably going to be these specific wards that are more important to have, because why would you have wards that don't see anything, even though seeing nothing is also information. But yeah, it needs some time to figure out.
Okay, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Thank you very much, Bobby.
No problem, dude.